Hey, what's good? What's going on? And welcome back to and it is, bro. For it's stupid. Learning a skill is stupid, and honestly, because this thing is so easily to be scammed, um, it makes it even more stupid. So this is just a channel where you can come and watch me and my techniques and what I look at the market and how I look at the market. I have been doing this for a total of 5 years with knowing nothing. Okay, I'm just gonna be honest, but I want to say the last year to two, I've learned so much. We also have built an academy called Trenton State Academy to where we taught and mentored the academy. So now we decide to take everybody from that academy since it was 100% turnover rate, conversion rate with that academy. We had over 10,000 plus families um, to invest in it, which is very good. If you ask me, just for random people want to hear what I got to say, we decided to take it and put it on YouTube. And lately, all you guys been seeing charts, but I promise I'm gonna get some things to y'all, some more tips, some more podcasts and all that. Um, and we're putting all this on YouTube for free, where you can learn it and see my journey and how I'm doing it as well, how it all makes sense to me. And I'm promise you, it may not make sense to you. I really don't care. But I'm just giving you some things you can start with. Even if it doesn't make sense, you can always find somebody that plugs the right thing into you. But you heard me say it first, okay? Regular Joe said it first. So let's get to it. I don't think this video will be too long. Like normally we spend like an hour and some change to mark the charts. There are a total of four charts that we marked, which is NAS 100, GBP, JPY, gold, and JPY USD. When I was looking at it a few minutes ago, just to kind of get an idea what I wanted to start with and how I want to go with things. We had one trade to take a direction, but it was take profit sell off. So we're gonna go over those trades. But I don't think everything will be too long because we're still currently waiting on these trades to either hit sell loss or hit take profit. Okay. So with that being said, make sure you hit that like button, that bell. And again, continue to see me mark up these charts, and I'm just gonna keep doing it till you believe it. You see me grow, and you see me conquer some things and stuff. Because if I can do it, you can do it too. All right. With that being said, let's get into the chart. We have NAS 100. And a shout out to Trenton State Academy, man. That was 100% conversion rate from red phase, blue phase to the white phase. So that's fire. That's fire. So let's look at it. Um, NAS 100 has I don't even think we started with this trade. Yeah. So we have not currently got into this trade. We set it up. As you can see, the entry is here. So we have not currently entered the trade, but it's setting up pretty nicely. We have also broken the previous weekly high and the monthly high, giving us a nice solid momentum for the buy. So far as me doing anything to this particular trade, I am not going to do anything because I currently have an entry, a take profit, and a sell loss in. So we're going to continue to keep that trade in and see how I do. So for this week, we're just going to see if our trade pushes off into the direction that we wanted to. Because as you can see on the previous week and previous month time frame, we are currently above that. So we're broken the high. I didn't mean to say time frames. I meant the high. I meant to say high. And if I added my indicator for us, the pivot point, the candlesticks are above pivot point, and this is on the daily time frame. So it's still a little nice little setup going. We're still above the previous monthly close. We're above, as you can see now, the previous monthly high and the weekly high. When we go down to the day, things still clears up for us pretty nicely. We're still in this buying momentum, as you can see. Take this trend line. It's a nice buy here. Nice buy, like nice. Um, Even if I want to do it like this, just hit it multiple times, like about there, and then I can kind of do something on that same line there, grazing points about here. right? But as you can see, price stay with above the pivot point, above pivot point, pivot point, pivot point, pivot point. So it's still giving me this indication of a buy. So I'm still going to stay with that. And then we look at the volume. We have a little bit of selling pressure with the volume. As you can see, there's a little bit of pullback, but we still setting up for this nice push to the upside. Let me get a battery for this. 1 second. I thought I plugged this up. I'm sorry. All right, so um oh, so we have the volume indicators giving some selling pressure. So let's see what it is for the daily. We got some buying pressure for that daily. We're above the pivot point. I'm sorry for the day. For the weekly, this is like some buying pressure. I don't really know where my pivot point. We're above the pivot point for that because the pivot points is there. Yep. Um, for the 4 hour, above the pivot point. For the 1 hour, we're currently above the pivot points with some selling pressure on our volume. So with that being said, I am going to stay into this trade. I'm not going to delete this trade to set it up for this week. It's already set up. It did some good things as far as movement from last week. It's set up pretty nicely. So I am going to keep this trade for NAS 100 and we're going to see what it does. Okay, I am going to remove the lines that I did include because that was a nice little trend line. Um, I'm not gonna remove it. I'm just gonna keep it like this, and then I'm going to put a note here that and then I'm gonna save the chart. So we put a note here. Today is the June. I think today's the 17th, 17th, 25. Price broke above previous monthly high and previous previous monthly high and previous weekly high. We are going to stay in position the buying opportunity we saw from last week. Price is also above pivot points on all time frames. And then we go lock that bad boy in. Boom. And then that's all we got for now it's 100. I'm sorry. All right. All right. So moving right along, like I told y'all, it's not gonna be too crazy because some of these trades hasn't taken off yet. We got GBP JPY. I don't think I know for sure I didn't really call anything, but I did put a trade out there. So let me see if I can find the points that I put. If I had any points. I think I just drew it. Okay, here you go. And then we're currently in this trade, right? So she locked this bad boy again. Let's take the pivot points off. All right, we're currently in this trade. As you can see, we entered the trade here at the entry point. We broke above. I'm guessing the orange is the previous weekly high. We also broke above the previous monthly high, so we just need that little bitty push to take profit for this trade. We're gonna look and see what GBP JPY is doing for this week, but it's looking good for us. If I want to like get out of this trade or nothing, I want to still stay in this trade and keep it. Um, look at my volume real quick. It's showing a little bit of selling. Okay. Because if I want to show you guys something, hold on. Because if I back up on the chart for a second, boom, 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 this is what we're looking at. All right. Let's see what those pivot points were. These are buying. It was a buying. Strong buy on the upside. Okay, for the week we are in a above the pivot point. For the days we're above this pivot point. Yep. Making this W format, and this is the midline of that W. Price came back and retested. Yeah, so I definitely think we're gonna profit out on this trade pretty nicely with above pivot points on both on all time frames actually. I'm gonna go to. I usually don't go in order, but because of how these trades are going, I'm going to go in order. So we're gonna go ahead and look at forexfactory.com, look at GBP, JPY, and see what we got going on. See when we could we expect this trade to take profit at any time of this week. Today is Tuesday, so let's go back to yesterday. This is not June 12th. Okay. Well, let's just refresh this. I don't know what we got going on. Okay, there we go. So it's the 17th. So we're gonna go back just a day. And then we go, there we go. I'm like, hold on. So JPY had a little bit of movement for yesterday, but GBP was good on the news. So that was okay for the trade. There's some movement going as far as like news red folder or JPY on today. And then as you continue to look down the chart for today, um, all news around, all news, my bad, for as far as G7 meetings was yellow. Keep looking down to see if you see some more JPY. JPY is yellow, and then there's some GBP. Around 1 a.m. today was a little bit. Well, that's tomorrow. My bad. So JPY today is pretty good. Looking how we're going into it tomorrow. There's some red for GBP on Wednesday, and then it goes back in yellow. And then JPY is good, so we may be seeing some type of back and forth on Wednesday, but then it should go back to being good. And then you have Thursday. GBP is red, it's looking crazy. So by the end of today, going into tomorrow, I think the trade would take because we don't have that far to go. So I think the trade will hit. Because Thursday GBP would be no good, and then Friday, yeah. So tomorrow will be the last. Tomorrow will be the day I think this trade closes. If it don't close by the end of today, then tomorrow for sure I think this trade will close into profit before we start to see some retraction, some pullback, some retracements I meant, and some pullbacks or something like that, some type of crazy reaction in the market. So, and that's what I mean by right here. We're this close, so I think the market's pulling back for some momentum, and then boo, I feel like we'll by today to tomorrow we'll hit this, because we don't have that far to go, right? And then once it goes and take that, I think price will be coming back down to retest the previous monthly high as a support to continue to buy. That's what I totally think. Yep. And if we go back to the month, let's go see what this look like. Yeah. I think that price is making that momentum, and then come back to retest this. So we'll put a notation in on the daily. We'll unlock that bad boy. And we'll put again for June 17th, 25. We are currently in this trade actively. All right. We have some bad news that will affect the market tomorrow and then go back into yellow folders for GB GBP. Um, looking for the trade to take profit by end of today or tomorrow. Thursday and Friday news will be in the red for GBP and JPY. All right, so that's our expectations. That's how I be writing my notes. Boom. We're gonna keep those bad boys in that thing. And we move into the next trade. Let's move on to it. Let's go into gold. We'll go back to JPY. We'll make that the last one. Gold, we're currently into this trade too. And it's beautiful. I'm talking about beautiful. I mean, this head and shoulder pattern couldn't get any better if it was in some pancakes. You feel me? Like we seen this head and shoulder pattern. Let's go to the left side of the shoulder. Here's the head right down here, man. Like, pay attention, okay? Even though I have a little different technique, I've learned from different mentors, but learning support resistance, supply demand, um, tools to use trend lines, indicators that helps you as a confirmation and a group of confluences, not confirmation, but a group of confluences and not just lean on it. I'm telling you, whatever your technique is, you can add to it. You can take a bunch of educative techniques that you've learned that you invested to. You can take those and you could build your own. Like I have built my own, right? I really pay attention to what I was doing because I get so frustrated when things just don't go my way, and I've been working on that. But taking the technique that I'm doing, which I've learned from Stephen Lindor, understanding chart patterns into depth, which I learned from Stephen at the Trade Channel. And then to cap it all off, I learned the economy part and how to actually understand the indicators exactly to the T, what these indicators do through Karen Fu, which is the number one Singapore trader in the world, the number one trader in the world from Singapore, and uh, having strategies, like knowing what strategies are built of, and taking them into depth and using all type of strategies, not just one, understanding market structure into depth. And I give the shout out to my guy from Trade Society. All right. I can't think of his name right now. It's like Mark or something like that. I don't even think it's Mark, but anyway, he's super dope. So I have four educators. And then top it all off, how to trust yourself, how to fully believe in yourself, how to psychology believe yourself. I learned that from Swag Academy, Mr. Swaggy C, and I want to talk about these educators in my next trading podcast. So I took all that and I've developed this strategy, and it's about to be crazy. Once I fully immerse into my belief, like it's gonna be crazy. It is already crazy, and I'm showing y'all. But look, let me see if I can draw this out for you, and then we're gonna move on. So, of course, we're currently in this trade, so I do not want to get out. Okay. Um, where is this? This build confidence for me because, like I said, I've learned things knowing nothing, and I've learned things knowing something. You feel me? So it's just like taking that confusion and how do I manipulate that confusion to make all this make sense to me. Where is that indicator? That's a good question. What is that? I don't know where the inverted head and shoulder pattern went. I was gonna draw it up. Tools. Well, think I'm losing it, y'all. Let's see if I can try with this one. Head and shoulder, boom. Except it's just this the inverted. Look, boom, boom. Look, boom, boom. Hold up, boom, boom, boom. Look, I can't make this up, bro. So the neckline, well, the first breakout for this trade would have been right here, and I'm gonna try to like mark it up so you can see it. Price broke out this, which is would be this trend line, boom, 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 boom. Price break out of that trend line, retested here. All right, so the first take where you could have got in there and made my first profit would have been about here. All right, which would be this candle here. Even if we got up to that, closed by right there. And then on my second candle, which is where we currently are right now, on my second TP, well, I feel like when it broke out this trend line of this inverted head and shoulder, it could be right here because price went there before, but it hasn't closed there. All right, you see where this first entry is right here, price closed there. This second entry here, price hasn't closed there. The price has gotten that far, and it broke above the previous weekly high. It hasn't broke above the previous monthly high yet. Um, we can add our pivot point, which is down here above. Look, what you see is right there above the inverted head and shoulder, and then you can go here, do the same thing, put back on the week, same thing, just in a prettier little format, right? So, and then I think the third TP, which you can squeeze when the price actually hit profit. Let me go back because we're pulling back and we're gonna hit TP1. We'll hit the second TP and profit. When I say TP, we're gonna hit this second way right here. Boom, boom, boom. I feel like price is gonna come up here and take profit there, right? And then it's gonna push past here, which we needed to because that will be our 1 and 3, right? And then price will break above here because right now price is even with the close where it's been before. So we have to create a higher high. And price is already showing you that it's buying, right? This is gold though, so you know what I'm saying. So it's a nice buy for me. Price is already showing you that. Down to the 4 hour, we're on top of this pivot points. Very nice, bro. I'm excited about this. Very nice. Yep, very nice, very nice. So that's just where I think we're going with it right now. You know, feel me? So, and I think once price make that initial push, it'll come back down and trying to see if it's going to switch market structure or what. Yeah, so I think this is going to be a bullish candle for the month and for the week. I truly do. And I think we probably end off about right here. So far as notes go, let's go to my day. We're looking for price to close. And we wanted to complete this inverted head and shoulder because the price was like a head and shoulder pattern in this direction. And like um my marker. All right. If it was buying like this, bull price created a normal head and shoulder, not an inverted head and shoulder, but a head and shoulder pattern, something like that. Right? We've been essentially buying and then looking for opportunities to sell, right? So if we had got these points and prices where we are currently right here on this one, price is currently, as far as the baseline is here, right? And we catch the trade once it broke here, then you can boom, wait for price to come through something like that, and then sell, right? So essentially, we're looking for this to the upside since is we're buying, right? And we see an inverted head and shoulder, price can continue to buy. Because if the inverted to me personally was going to be there's gonna be a regular head and shoulder pattern, right? That's not pretty. The head and shoulder pattern, point here, point, point. But it's inverted. So now we're going, said it was buying at one point in time, and then price sold here, came back, sold below, all right, and then came back, made a higher low, and now we back here, all right. So essentially, we were buying, boom, and everything to here is a pullback, right? We just wanted to see if price going to switch structure, or continue to buy, but this one is where price switched the structure, right? This one, price pulled back, all pretty, made a neckline here, right? So basically, we just got the same thing. We saw, I'm sorry, let me delete this. I can always draw it back. Price is buying, boom. Wait, yeah. Price is buying, then price drop, boom. It'll drop again, boom. Come back up, lower high, boom. So essentially, that's what we're looking at. All right. Once price hit this neckline here, it broke out of that, right? Price broke out of that. Looking for price to make this little retest and continue to buy. So one, which is the head and shoulder, gives the indication of a reversal and that the trend is going could possibly change, right, as far as market structure goes, because we're no longer breaking structure. And then the other one falls out with the break of structure, but don't change the market structure of it, as far as like the change of character. The inverted head and shoulder, the head and shoulder changes character of the market. All right. Break of structure is when you break into higher highs. Break of structure happened on both of them, right? But one changed character. So the head and shoulder is a pattern that changes the structure of the market, change of character, whether it's going from buy to sell or sell to buy. And then inverted head and shoulder, all right, it's a continuation pattern that tells you that price is going to continue in this buy or in this sell. So they're different. They're the same, but they're different. Okay. And I love when I see an inverted head and shoulder in the middle of a trend or at the beginning of a trend. Like it's so easy for me to see them. You can spot a chart pattern. You're good. All right. So we're going to notate this and then we're going to move on. Told y'all we didn't really have much markings on this one, but I'm glad they're setting up the way they are so we can see how they do. All right. So boom. This we are still currently in this active trade. Um Price have created and inverted and shoulder. It's on all time rims. Yeah. What I'm typing? Time frames. We are expecting price to hit TP. Because price broke overall trend line and then pulled back and retest. Price broke the overall trend line on the inverted head and shoulder and retested. Price is also above pivot points. Let me see this on all time. Pivot points, pivot points, pivot points, pivot points. Okay. Up day before 101. I think we're on pivot points on all the time frame. On all time frames. All right. Lock that bad boy up. And that's what we got. So we did Nas 100. Excuse me. We've done GBP, JPY. We've done gold. And last but not least, we're going to look at see what JPY USD did for the week of last week and see if we need to adjust or how we need to adjust. All right. Let's get it. Excuse me. All right. So, yeah, I know I don't really like JPY USD. It had a pretty dope setup last week, but it hit the wait. Let me actually go down to it before I say that because I think it did hit sell-offs. Yes, so it hit sell-offs. Um, yeah, price guys in the trade here and then hit it to sell-offs. Um, so this would be the one here. Um, so this one would be the one we set up all the way and then redo. But yeah, it hit sell-offs as you can see, but price didn't pass the previous daily low. It did get above the previous daily high, but then they pulled back on us to retest. I want to say this is probably the monthly. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna look at JPY USD and see if we want to take these changes. If not, we'll mark them up. See what we're gonna do for the week. But the ones that did take that, I don't really like JPY USD, so I did not take that trade, but I did mark it and give put it out there. The ones that I took was Nas 100, gold, and GBP JPY. The only ones I like. The other one, JPY USD, is from my guy Eric. So whenever he decides to come back, we'll be fully into effect. So what else are we looking at? I don't know what else we're looking at. What else are we looking at? We know he hit sell loss. Oh, let's probably remark everything from the week and the day for this chart. So volume shows buying pressure with a little sale. Yeah, and that sale was crazy. All right, so we're gonna delete that. Let's go for the week. Gonna delete this. Keep the month. Gonna delete the entry point. Previous daily low. Everything that is, well, what is this purple for? Because the pink is the monthly. Oh, this is a major resistance on my bad, guys. All right. Let's see what's happening here. And then previous weekly high, we're gonna delete, cover up these pivot points, take out the blue. Previous daily close is the purple. I'm deleting everything for a sec, real quick. This is for the month. I want to make sure that the month is straight. All right, so let's do it. So we got the month just here. So we had this major resistance zone. Look at this pivot point. All right, right there at the pivot point. So we're gonna drop down to the week. And we just crossed this pivot point. Okay. So that's last week candle, and this is this week. This is the candle we need to work off of. Take off the pivot point. We're gonna bring this candle. I mean these. Yeah, we're gonna go closer to the chart. Why not the candle? And let's see what we can work off of. So we're gonna mark the weekly. I'm gonna turn it. Just turn it blue. I'm gonna turn it blue. All right. That this is the previous week that we're doing. All right, so we're gonna mark it. Previous previous week. This is a sale candle open. What's up? Previous weekly close. There. Stop, please. Please. I can hear you. Thank you. Previous weekly low. And then now let's go down to the daily. Boom. That's not this daily candle, this daily candle. So let me see, we're inside of it. We broke above the previous weekly close for this week, the previous week candle and the previous open for the buy. So this is the candle of today. This is the candle that we're working off of. So let's mark it. Let's do black. No, I can't do black. Let's do purple. Nah, green. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Clone. Previous daily open. I don't know. Oh wait. Okay. So look at JPY for the week before I get into this, because it's giving some strong selling pressure. Mm. Let's look at it before I analyze this. It's JPY. Today was good. No JPY for Wednesday, but USD look crazy. No, JPI is yellow for Thursday. GBP look crazy. USD. No USD news. Friday. JPY red and USD is yellow. So I would like to see what this do. I don't really know. I don't really like the setup, so we have to see. Price broke below the previous daily low. So could have got in here and then I wanted to see if it Will price break the previous week low? That's my main question. Um, mm, I'm trying to all right, so 2, 3, because it has touched it multiple times in the past. So yeah, because this is what I'm looking for a price to do. So that's kind of what I got for that. I ain't really too set up on it, and I'm not gonna call it out because that wouldn't be the call I want to make. I would want it to break below because it's done it down here, and then look for that sell position. Um, different points way up there. So pivot points on top, pivot points, all the pivot points are on top. Yeah, so it would break below, boom, pull back, probably create another pivot point, and boom. All right, boom. We got that in. So we did 900 GBP, JPY, gold, and JPY USD. All right. So all I got for the day. I don't have nothing else. If you would like to see something else, I don't have nothing else. But not for real, man. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tapping in for this week's chart analysis. And I'll see you next time here at because it is like everything else.